I'm welcome. While we're waiting for others to join, I'm just gonna launch a little getting to know you poll. You can see it probably just popped up on your Zoom screen. It'll take you 2 seconds to fill it out, but I would love to just learn a little more about those who are actually here right now, because based on your answers and what we get to know about this particular crew in this masterclass series, I might tailor some of the trainings in one direction or another if I find out that a lot of you here are struggling with this one thing or this other thing. So go ahead and fill out the poll as we're waiting for others to join, as I see more are coming in. And welcome to everybody. I see some familiar faces. I see some lots and lots of new faces. So super excited to have you here. And those of you who have connected with our amazing workshop concierge, Amy. Amy's here. Amy's saying hi to everybody in the chat, and I'm glad you're here, Amy. Yes, yay for Amy. So while you guys are filling out the form, the poll. Thank you to you guys who are participating. Appreciate it. It just really helps us to know more about you, because I don't know about you, but there's nothing worse than being in a workshop where you're like, this doesn't apply to me. So, and also tell me while we're waiting for the rest of everybody to join, what part of the country are you guys in? Tell me in the chat. I know we have a pretty international crowd oftentimes in our tribe, so I'm curious to know where you guys are. And I know I'm like, fill out the form and say hi in the chat. So focus on the form, and then you can tell me, and then you can tell me where you're from. And if you guys don't know, so I split time between Los Angeles and Colorado. So we are in Colorado right now, and it is finally spring here. So if there's any of you Coloradans who are here, this has been a late spring for us. Like, it is just finally getting warm. It snowed and hailed last week, so we are happy. Let's see. Who's from Miami? Aisha Elshan. I grew up in Miami. That's where I'm from originally. So that's fun. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Saudi Arabia. Layla, that's amazing. We have, I see Georgia. Let's see, if you came in late, you may, the poll, you might have missed it, but that's okay. I'm gonna launch it again tomorrow, so don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It just helps me to get to know you guys a little bit better. Let's see, where else? Oh, Kathleen's from Oregon. Mark in New Jersey. I'm gonna actually be in New Jersey in a couple weeks because I'm doing some master classes in New York City. Arizona, nice. It's beautiful there. Javon. Hello, Javon. It's good to see you. Javon from Detroit. Let's see. Colorado, Centennial, Donna. Yeah, I'm kind of more Roaring Fork Valley, so not exactly around the corner, but I mean, it's not that big. And of course, we see we've got Apurva. Hey, Apurva, just coming to New York. We have lots of, I see another Floridian, Suberto in Fort Lauderdale. Atlanta, New Jersey, Mississippi, ooh, Berlin and Cyprus, Boston. All right, you guys, I am so excited that you are all here, because I know that it's not a small thing to, take time out of your week for something that you really care about. There's so much going on. So celebrating every single one of you, and can you honor yourself for putting in time and effort and accountability into something that you really care about. So celebrating everybody who's here. All right, I am going to end the poll now. And again, if you missed the poll, not a big deal. We will do it again tomorrow. For those of you who came in a little bit late, just a little getting to know you poll. So in case you don't know, I'm Arden Kaywin, and I am your guide for this incredible masterclass series over the next 7 days. So I want to get started. I want to dive right in, and I want you guys to buckle up, okay? Because over the next week, I'm going to train you on all of the major pillars that you need to bridge the gap between exceptional talent and exceptional success. So what we're talking about here is teaching you how to access 100% of your potential, unleash the truth of your talent and your voice so that you become bulletproof. Bulletproof in your technique, in your mindset, in your impact, every single time you step on that stage, whether it's auditions, performances, recording sessions, so that you give the kind of unforgettable performances that break through to those elite opportunities that you really want, and keep them coming. And you guys, it doesn't matter whether you sing whatever genre, if you sing opera, pop, musical theater, jazz, R&B, country, whatever genre you sing, you have gotten this far in your singing journey, in your singing career, because you've already got some foundations that have taken you this far 90% of the way. And so what the next 7 days are about is teaching you how to access that last maximum potential of your voice and your energy and your technique and your artistry and your impact, so that you stand out from the competition and you can go out there and achieve big opportunities and big paychecks in the coming rest of this year. My assistant Ashley told me that I need to turn up my mic, so let me do that so that you guys can hear me. So hang on 1 second. Every time Zoom updates, it messes with my mic settings, and they don't tell you. So that should be much better. I hope that's better. Guys, tell me in the chat. Is that better? Ash, is that better?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Of course. I mean, gotta make sure that you can hear. Okay. So here's the thing, guys. We are almost halfway into 2025 right now. And I know that a lot of you have been struggling and been frustrated in your singing because you're just not seeing the results that you want in your voice, in your singing, in your technique, in your singing career, despite what you're doing. And so if you don't want the remainder of 2025 to look exactly the same as the first 5 months of this year, if you don't want this whole year to look like 2024 with the same frustrations, the same disappointments continuing to replay, then guys, now is not the time to coast, okay? Because how you show up, what you activate, and how you up level in the next 2 months has a direct effect on the results that you will create for the remainder of 2025. So we're going to get into so many things that are going to help you really break through over the next 7 days. But before we do, just a little bit of housekeeping. Okay, so this is session 1. The sessions each day this week, they build on each other, and the trainings in each of the sessions, they build on each other. So if you have to come late, or if you have to leave early or miss something, watch the replay as soon as possible. So guys, we give you links after every session to watch the replay of what we trained on that day. So you can go that night and watch it, and then you'll be totally caught up when we come into the session the next day. The replay links are emailed to you. Now here's something really important about the replay links. They are only available through the 7 days of the workshop. So they disappear on Sunday night at midnight. So make sure that you catch up. I do that on purpose because if you haven't watched the replay for 2 days that you weren't here, and then you tune in on Wednesday, it's not that you're going to be totally lost, but like you're going to get so much more out of it if you're keeping up on it. Okay. So make sure you watch the replays. Does everybody have their masterclass workbook? It was links were sent to you and all of the stuff that we gave you leading up to this. If you do not have your masterclass workbook, Ashley, my assistant, Ash is like my right hand and my brain. She's just put the link in the chat for you guys. This is where all of the practice content that we're going to be working on, all of the exercises and the MP3s to practice with, that is where you find them in the workbook. Also homework, things that I'm giving you, PDFs, things that I want you guys to engage with on each day for the next day. It's all in the masterclass workbook. So make sure you download it, and you can either take notes in it on the PDF, or you can print it out and you can, make notes in it by hand. But trust me, you're going to want to take notes. So either do it on the workbook or grab something right now that you can take notes with. Okay. From time to time, I will be asking for guinea pigs who want to sing and get up and coach and volunteer to work on a particular tool that I'm giving you. So when I ask for volunteers, use the raise hand function. If you don't know where the raise hand function is, it looks like this little heart that says react on your Zoom screen, and you click that and it'll say raise hand or lower hand. Okay, so use the raise hand function for that. Now this is really, really important, guys. This is a safe space, okay? This is the safe space for those who sing, for those who share. We encourage vulnerability and bravery and courage. So we have a zero tolerance policy for any meanness, any criticism, any judgment, any throwing shade in the chat, okay? This is one of my highest held values for the singers in my tribe, be it in this setting or those who work with us in our intensive training program, is that this be a place where you feel safe to make a bad sound, where you feel safe to experiment, to be real, to be vulnerable. So please uphold that value for the duration of this workshop. And if for some reason we see some stuff in the chat, we will give you warning. And if that person cannot abide by that value, we will exit you from the Zoom. Luckily, I don't think we've ever had to do that, maybe once in all this time. So I'm relying on you guys to uphold that value. A little fun announcement is that we are doing a scholarship contest at the end of this workshop. So that is a scholarship for our flagship intensive training program. So it is available to those who come to every day of the workshop over the next 7 days. So if you come every single day, and we know if you're here because we know who's on the Zoom, so don't think you can pretend or pull it wool over our eyes or anything. If you've come to every day of the workshop between now and the next 7 days, and you don't miss a single one, then at the end of our time together, I'm going to announce a scholarship for our intensive training program, and you will be eligible to throw your hat in the ring for that scholarship. And I will talk more about it later on in the week. Okay, that's all our housekeeping. Let's get down to business, okay, guys? All right, so here's where we're going to start. First, I want to talk about impact, okay? And I want to talk about something called the impact gap. So the impact gap is when you go to an audition or you do a recording or something, and you're in that audition and you feel like you just really gave it everything you have, that you nailed it, or you're in that session and you're like, oh my God, like that was the best sound, I nailed it, it was amazing, whatever. And then you don't get the part you were auditioning for, or you put out that recording and it gets like 10,000 plays, like it doesn't hardly get any plays. And there is a major gap between what you feel that your potential and that you are putting out there and what the audience, the listener, the auditioners is actually getting. There's a gap in that impact. You feel like you're making that impact, but the impact that's actually being received is actually not at that level that you felt that you were performing at. And so we have a gap, an impact gap, okay? And the impact gap is the reason why so many of you are doing everything that you know how to do. You're taking lessons, you're recording, you're hustling, you're going to auditions, you're putting yourself out there for gigs, and you're just not seeing the results of all of that hustle and time and effort and money and energy in the form of the high-level opportunities that you really want. And the reason why is because there is an impact gap, okay, between what you feel you are putting out there and what the audience is actually receiving, the impact that the audience is actually receiving. And so I want to help you first today to understand why you're not booking the elite gigs you want, why you're not performing for the money that you think you deserve, that as consistently as you want, despite all of your training. And the first breakthrough that you need to fix this impact gap, which is the number one thing that traditional vocal training has never taught you. So understand this, guys. Nothing else that I teach you this week will matter if without first an understanding of the mind-body connection in singing, okay? This is the number one breakthrough that facilitates the impact that you want and everything else. And it is the number one thing that traditional training has never taught you. How do I know? Because I came from traditional training. I came from very fancy conservatory number one, where I did my undergrad, even fancier conservatory number two, where I did my master's, even fancier conservatory number three, where I did a performance certificate. And having performed all around the world, San Francisco Opera, in Italy, Opera Theatre St. Louis, you name it, and doing a lot of session work and recording. And the thing that none of my fancy training ever taught me, and I'm pretty sure none of your fancy training and none of your traditional training has ever taught you, is how to understand and cultivate a rock solid mind-body connection. And nothing else that I teach you this week will matter without understanding that. So first we're going to dive in, okay, and make sure that you have your masterclass workbook handy to take some notes. Now, the majority of you here fall into one of two categories, probably. Yeah, probably. Either you're already a professional singer, and for our purposes, that means you are already being paid to sing, or you're paid for your recordings, you're paid to perform. But maybe the really elite gigs, the big opportunities and the paychecks, they're still going to someone else. Like you've hit a ceiling. You've hit a ceiling in the career, and you don't know what more you could possibly be doing to break through to that next level, that elite level in your career. So either you're already a professional singer, but who's not really breaking through, or you're not a professional yet, but you are a serious singer who is at that point in your career where, given the amount of time and money that you've spent on expert vocal training and the amount of hustle that you're doing, recording, auditioning, performing, practicing, putting yourself out there, despite the amount of all of that, you should be getting professional gigs. You should be getting paid. But right now, you're putting yourself out there and you're just not seeing the results that you want. So whichever bucket that you fall into, we're here to break you through to that next level of what you want. So understand you've gotten this far in your singing because you've already got some foundations that have taken you this far. But the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access 100% of your potential so that you stand out from the competition and you can go out there and land the big opportunities that you really want. So now, first I want you to get, like really get, that having an elite singing career is not really about talent. It's not. At the level that you want to play at, and at the level that you're playing at now, everyone's got talent. Everyone in this room has talent. So what separates the metaphorical men from the boys, the badass singers from the superstars? It's all about energy. How you use your energy. So what do I mean by that? Well, your audience responds to your energy, not just your singing. And so that audience, though, is not the only thing that responds to your energy. Your voice is also responding to your energy as well, because the way you use your energy affects your voice. So this is not my instrument. My larynx, this is not my instrument. Your whole body is your instrument, not just your larynx, not just your vocal cords. Your whole body is your instrument. And just like a trombone player, a cello player makes sure that their instrument is in good working order, we too need to make sure that our instrument, our whole body, is set up to make the biggest impact as efficiently as possible. But here's the kicker. Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. So this is concept number 1 for today. So if you're following along in your masterclass workbook, this is concept number 1 that you're going to fill out. Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. Write it down. You guys, your body is built to respond to your brain in everything. Your body is only ever responding to your brain all day, every day, in ways that you are conscious of and in ways that you are not conscious of. Your brain is managing and directing all the functions of your body, your heart rate, your digestion, all of your basic functions, as well as interpreting your environment, making meaning out of it, telling you how to feel about it, which causes a physical reaction in your body. So when we have a thought or a feeling, it lives in the body. Guys, we physicalize our thoughts and our feelings. It's just part of being human. We all do it. Think about it. If you have a thought that really excites you, you get butterflies in your stomach. That's your body's physical response to that thought. And if we have a thought that really scares us, we go into fight or flight. That's the human response to fear that all humans have had since the beginning of time, right? The bear walks into the cave, the caveman goes into his fear reaction, which is either going to be, he's going to brace himself to fight the bear, or he's going to flee. He's going to run away from the bear. Both are physical reactions to the circumstance of fear and the physical reaction that that's created in the body. And so your brain and your body are interfacing like this all day long, all day, every day, in ways you're present to and in ways you're not. So let's say, for example, that you're just the teensiest insecure about a certain aspect of your voice. So type into the chat, guys. Tell me, because now I told you, we're going to get vulnerable. We're going to get real. So we might as well start in day one. Put into the chat some aspect of your voice that you're singing that makes you feel a little insecure. Could be high notes, could be the tone of your voice, could be a wobbly vibrato, could be that sometimes you crack. Yeah, Stephen, upper notes can be shaky. Robert, stamina. Yes, Jonathan has some tension. Donna, some high notes, some stability. Guys, that's 7 people. There's 70, 80, 90 people in this chat. We should see 90. You guys engage. Let's see. Nuala, changing register. Yes. Taylor, when I sing higher and softer. Consistency. Yes. When you break and when you crack. Rigo, the old man voice. Yes. Tight throat. Sometimes when I'm high and I'm not in tune. Yes. Sharita, consistency. Penny, head to chest and pitchiness. Good. I'm so glad you guys are present to this. Okay. So I want you to think about these things that you're putting into the chat. And I love how you guys are going all in and engaging. Think about what you just put into the chat, right? So like I noticed a lot of you talked about high notes. So let's say you're teensy a little insecure about your high notes. Like you've got them, you can do them, but there's always that doubt that lingers around it because it's just never been an easy part of your voice. So let's say that's you. And because of that, now you're in a big audition or something that counts, like a big performance or something, and that anxiety starts to creep in about an upcoming high note. Does anybody get that anxiety when it's time for a high note? I mean, so many of you just typed into the chat, right? Okay, well, guess what? Whatever it is that you put in the chat, whether it's, you know, what Bridget just says, placement, right? Or whether it's resonance or whether it's your high notes, guess what? Your body is going to physically react to that fear and to that anxiety in that moment that it counts. And so what happens is you end up on a negative feedback loop. So, okay, you're a little afraid of the high notes. And now you're in an audition or a performance, and that high note is coming up. And now you're in your physical fear reaction. You're either in fight or flight. And because in that moment, remember we talked about like the bear who's coming to the cave to eat you, you're going to fight or you're going to flee, right? In that moment, your amygdala brain, your lizard brain does not get the difference between botching that high note and the bear that's coming to the cave to eat you. It does not, because it does not want to fail. Failure in that moment is akin to being eaten by the bear, right? We don't want to fail. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to do whatever we can to prevent that. And we go into fight or flight. And so what that means, if your reaction is to fight, you go into make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. Or if your reaction is to flee, you back away. Either way, backing away from the body and the technique that you otherwise know, or pushing, forcing, manipulating, either way, you get kicked off the technique that you otherwise know. Your body cannot do what it was built to do. And guess what? You have created the bad high note that you were terrified of in the first place. And what's worse is that now you have evidence. Now you have evidence that you're not good enough. You have evidence that you can't do it. And it feeds back in to the next high note you're about to sing, to the next audition you're going to do, to the next opportunity. And now you're in even more fear because you don't want to fail again. And so you push more, you fight more, or you back away more. Either way, now you have created the bad high note yet again. You have more evidence. It feeds back into the next note and you see the loop. Herein lies the negative feedback loop. Okay. You are always reacting to your thoughts and your feelings, whether you realize it or not. It's just part of being human, guys. All people have physical reactions to our thoughts and feelings. And one of those physical reactions is tension. Tension is one of the ways that our body tries to protect itself from a difficult or uncomfortable thought or feeling. Whatever the cause, whatever the feeling, it physically lives in our body. But as singers, it means that the physical reactions to our thoughts and our feelings also live in and affect our instrument, our body. So for someone who's not a singer, Joe Schmo is sitting at his computer doing his, data processing job, whatever. If he's physicalizing his thoughts and his feelings, it might not be so comfortable, but it's not going to prevent him from doing his job. But for a professional singer whose body is her instrument, those physical reactions and those tensions put you on the negative feedback loop and have a dramatic effect on your ability to do your job, do it well, do it consistently at the most elite level. Because the physical reaction to your thoughts and your feelings affects the energy, there's that word again, that moves or does not move through your body, through your instrument. And guess what, guys? Sound is a form of energy. Like light, like heat, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's the law of entropy. You guys remember high school physics? The law of entropy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes form, okay? So, sound is a form of energy. And you have one job as a singer, and that is to impact your audience. And if you're going to be a successful professional singer at an elite level, then that impact has to be massive so that you stand out from the competition and they keep coming back for more. And the only way that that kind of massive impact happens is when you are the most open channel for energy in the form of sound to move through you to your audience. There cannot be any blocks. So, if you're not breaking through to the level of opportunity or of voice or of career that you want, you are not making the impact that you need. And that is because there are blocks in that energetic exchange between you and the listener. Blocks that you don't even realize. Blocks that traditional training doesn't even acknowledge or train. Okay? Because you guys, you see, energy and vibrations, it needs to flow freely through the body for optimum singing technique and sound and impact. And our body's physical responses to uncomfortable thoughts, anxieties, feelings, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it causes blocks in that energy. And those blocks live in the body in the form of tensions that block the free flow of energy and sound from happening. And when that happens, it blocks your impact. So get this, guys. What's going on in your mind, both conscious and subconscious, matters because it affects how your energy lives and moves through your body, which has a huge effect on your ability to tap into the fullest potential of your body, your voice, to use your technique and succeed in the ways that you want with your singing. So this brings me to the second concept for today. Energy is the link between mind and body. Write it down. Concept number 2, energy is the link between mind and body. That's what creates the mind-body connection. If the body cannot do what the brain is sabotaging, like we said, Then, in order to stop the sabotage so that mind and body are working together when you sing, creating that big impact, then you've got to understand and align the energy creating the sabotage. So let me explain what I mean and how this works. The energy that many serious singers, pro singers, aspiring pros like you are in when you sing, regardless of if it's an audition, a performance, a recording session, or even for a lot of you just practicing, the energy that most of you are in usually comes from one underlying subconscious need. And it's the need to prove. The need to prove you're good enough, that you sound good, that you belong on that stage, to prove your talent, to prove you're worthy, talented, lovable, you name it. None of us wants to admit it, guys, yet this is where the majority of us are operating from. And so let's be real here. Does anybody relate? How many of you relate to this? Say me or put a hand in the chat. Like if you get real honest with yourself, how many of you feel like you got something to prove when you get up there? Yeah, totally. Samantha, Robert, Cecilia, Natasha, Kevin, Kathy, Donna, Mark, Jenna. Yeah, you guys, you see, you're not alone here. Okay? You are not alone. This is a common experience. And most of the time, guys, this is not conscious, but it's the subconscious, what I call the not enough stuff, the not enough thinking, and that energy that's driving the bus. Especially if you've been at this for a while, especially if you've been up for big opportunities and you get into the final callbacks, or you have that record label meeting, but then they go with somebody else and you get passed over again. It's that always the bridesmaid, never the bride thing. Who has that experience? Does any of you have that experience? You put out a record and it's like, does okay, but it never really gets you where you want to go. Or you go to the audition and you get picked for the ensemble again for the 25th time, and that lead role goes to somebody else. Or maybe you get into the final callbacks for the lead role and they're always picking somebody else and now you're the understudy. Tell me in the chat, who feels like you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Yeah, I see you guys. For sure, Apurva, Robert, Dave, yes, Natasha. So there are real feelings here, guys. Even there can be real trauma here. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. To be working as hard as many of you are working and to have put so much blood, sweat, and tears into making this singing career, this dream, a reality, and to be in the mix this close, only to keep getting passed over. It can be traumatic. And then we feel like we're not enough. And we don't want to feel that. We don't. So what happens is you respond to that underlying subconscious need to feel like you're enough and prove that you're enough in either one of two ways. Either the first is a way with like a very outwardly focused energy. So this is like, we've all seen singers like this on Idol and The Voice, I'm sure, where like, they're just so like, look at me, listen to me, ha, it's so like, just so much outward focused energy, love me, listen to me, watch me. And they get up there and they're just trying so hard. And you as the audience, like you can smell it a mile away. And they might objectively have a really nice voice and it's just uncomfortable to watch because they're just trying too hard, and it sabotages their technique and their impact because it makes them push. And so they push because they've got something to prove, and gosh darn it, they're gonna give it to you because they don't want to fail. So they just overdo and push and blow everything out, and it ends up sabotaging their best technique, their best impact, and it just ends up not being their best performance. And so they don't really rise to the competition and they don't really go as far as they could otherwise go. Not to mention that the audience feels like accosted by their energy. it's like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been judging auditions for things, and an objectively talented singer is like doing this, and I literally just want to shake them and be like, chill, stop trying so hard, you know? And so now the connection between them and the audience has been sabotaged. And without that, there will be no impact. And without the impact, what do we know, right? What's your number one job as a singer? Make that impact on your audience. And so now they've sabotaged their connection with their audience. There goes the opportunity. So that's the one way that this manifests. The other way that the need to prove manifests is by you pulling back your energy, receding and shrinking. I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's what happens. All right, like we finally got this big opportunity to sing, to prove our gifts to ourselves, to others, to show what we can do, which you've probably done a million times, like when nobody's watching in your own practice by yourself, right? But now the stakes are high. The pressure to prove our worthiness, our talent, it can be so overwhelming for some that it just becomes too much and they shrink away. They shrink away from it in that moment. And when that happens, we back away from our technique, we stop trusting it, we recede from it, and then we lose the efficiency in our body. So we can't access 100% of the potential of our sound, and our performance suffers. Not to mention that the audience feels that too. The audience feels a wall go up when you shrink back into yourself. They feel it. I'm sure you've all watched performers and you can just see like they're not there. There is no connection. Like they're singing, but what their energy is actually broadcasting is, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Whether they mean to or not, they've gone into the bunker. And now we've lost impact. And what did we just say? What's your number one job to make it as an elite level and a pro singer? Impact. Okay? So the need to prove is cutting you off from your impact. And it's an example of what I call stinking thinking. Stinking thinking, the ways in which our mind sabotages our body, our instrument, and our impact. And there's no way that you can be bulletproof to bring that massive impact with the stinking thinking going on, because it affects your energy in either of these two ways. It sabotages your sound, your technique, and because that's how your body is responding it. So now your sound and your technique is sabotaged, and it sabotages our ability to connect with our audience. And without those two things in place, there is no way that your voice or your performance will make an impact. And without that ability to make an impact reliably and at a high level, you will not have success as a singer at the level that you want. And now you feel insecure. You feel less than. And then when you're feeling that way, you don't act on your own behalf as powerfully as you otherwise would to go after opportunities. You start to play small. You don't put yourself out there in ways that would really serve these higher level goals. And so you stay stagnant. You stay where you are. So what do we do about it? What do we do about it? First, we have got to change the thinking, because when we change the thinking, we change the singing. That is where all the breakthroughs that you want in your voice and your technique and your career live. And that is the third concept for today. Concept number 3, changing thinking equals changing singing. Write it down. Changing thinking equals changing singing. It is the backbone of everything you are going to learn over the next 7 days, because, guys, I could give you the best technique in the world. And trust me, I've got some game-changing, incredible high-level technique that we are going to get into over the next few days. And you're going to hear things and learn things that nobody has ever taught you. But none of that will matter if you do not get these concepts first. Why? Because your body cannot do what your brain continues to sabotage. So if we're going to change the singing, we have got to change the thinking first, because, say it with me, changing thinking equals life-changing singing. It will be on my gravestone. I am going to tattoo it onto my head. It is the cornerstone of massive breakthroughs in your voice, okay? Because, like, think about it. Do you guys ever notice that you always sing better when you're alone in the car or in the shower? Like, hit me in the chat. Do you notice that? Who gives Grammy-winning performances in the shower or in the car or in your own practice when nothing's at stake and nobody is watching, right? Like, yeah, totally, Susan, absolutely. Taylor, Grace, yeah. Me too, by the way. When I was first starting out, all my Grammy-winning performances were in the shower. Any idea why that is? Tell me in the chat. Why are you always better in your shower, in the car? Why? Who knows? Yeah, exactly. You're uninhibited. You're relaxed. Exactly. No stinking thinking. Right. Because guys, in those moments, in the shower, in the car, in your own practice, you've got nothing to prove. There's nothing at stake. How you sing in that moment is not a reflection of your worth. There's no success or failure there. You're just trusting your instrument, trusting your technique, because in that private moment, you are enough for yourself. Your thinking is making meaning out of where you are and creating circumstances in your body that allow you to use your instrument and your technique for you instead of sabotaging them against you. And your thinking is giving an entirely different meaning to other circumstances, like those big auditions and performance opportunities, whether you realize it or not. That creates a different outcome in your body, which sabotages your impact, which is why you don't do the same thing when you're in those opportunities and you're not breaking through. So, keeping your instrument in optimum shape to access that last 10, 20% of the potential in your voice for the biggest possible impact means understanding and addressing the part that your mindset plays in creating all of that in the first place. And then being intentional about also training your mind. Why? Say it with me again. Because your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And this is why so many of you also experience loads of tension when you sing. Tell me in the chat, how many of you suffer from a lot of tension when you sing? Say, put tension in the chat if you get tension. Or even, what about strain and vocal fatigue? Those are also outgrowths of tension. Tension, strain, vocal fatigue. Who deals with it? Yes, Carrie, Donna, Celia, Elshad, yes, Mark, Jonathan. Okay, so you guys can see this is a super common problem because technical training doesn't address it. And so you all are going out there into the professional singing world with all this training and loads of tension because nobody is addressing why this is all happening. Vocal fatigue, strain, most often a byproduct of tension. Now, tension in singers is caused by two main things. It's caused by improper breath support is one, but guess what's the first thing to go out the window when you're in the negative feedback loop? Your breath support. But tomorrow, we're going to get into some really high-level breath support tools. I'm excited. Like, you guys, I geek out on this stuff, okay? Like, you think you've been taught breath support before, but I guarantee you that even with the tons of training that so many of you have had, there are things you're going to hear tomorrow that you have not heard before. So I'm super psyched for that. So don't miss tomorrow. But I could give you the best training on breath support in the world, and it won't matter. And your body won't do it if your body is holding tension to try to protect you and keep you safe. Safe from feeling unworthy, safe from feeling embarrassed, safe from failing. And so here's what that looks like. Actually, I have an idea. Let's have a volunteer. So who here performs a lot and also experiences a lot of physical tension or even vocal fatigue, either during rehearsals or during gigs? Tell me in the chat, who here gets a lot of tension when you perform? Cool. Okay. Not cool, but cool in the sense that, like, you're willing to just own it, right? Okay. So let me see. Does any would and so if you had your hand raised in the chat, from something before, lower your hand. Okay. So of those of you who, said that you perform a lot and you express a lot of, or you feel a lot of tension when you perform and you rehearse, who would like to be a little guinea pig? Now, those of you raise your hand if you'd like to be a guinea pig, and you put something into the chat that you do experience tension. Okay. So the first hand that I saw was Carrie. Carrie, go ahead and unmute. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for being so brave. Can we get a nice hand for Carrie for being brave? She didn't even know what she was volunteering for. Okay. So first off, where do you experience the tension? Your throat, your neck, your jaw, your ribs? Like, where do you experience it?
My throat.
Okay. And when do you experience? Is it all the time when you're performing or rehearsing? Is it on long phrases, on high notes? Are you present to when you experience it?
It used to be all the time. I think recently I'm starting to feel more relaxed, but definitely when I'm approaching a high note or a difficult part of the song.
Okay. And is it every time you perform or every time you rehearse, like pretty much you're getting fatigued and you're getting the tension? Does it happen fairly regularly? Is it what you've come to expect?
Yeah, and I know that it's mental, and I try to tell myself to, stay in a different place. And so, I'm just not able to control it
Yeah,
usually.
that's hard. Yeah. So, but I'm so glad you volunteered because I'm going to take you through a little mindset process right now and hopefully we'll get a little more clarity.
Okay.
So, where are you at in your singing journey? Are you doing this professionally? How often do you perform? Just tell me briefly, like where you're at.
I sing with a cover band a couple times a month, usually.
Okay. Are they paid gigs?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And what is your big goal? Like if you were totally confident and none of the issues were happening, right? Like what do you want? What's your vision that would light you up for your singing career?
I just really want to experience singing. I don't know how to express this exactly, but I want to be able to. Yeah, I can't think of the words. I can't. I'm having trouble, but I just want to be able to feel like I have control of my voice the
Mhm.
way that I hear it in my head, I guess, or
Okay.
the way
Yeah,
that I feel the note.
I get it.
Yeah, it's really hard to
I
explain.
get it. Okay, so my next question to you is, to what end? Why is that important to you to be able to do that so that you can what?
I know maybe the answer is supposed to be business related.
No, there is no
No,
supposed to. No supposed to. This is about helping you get clarity.
I just want, I don't really know what I want. I guess I want to delight and share. I don't know why I want to do it. I just know that I'm always singing all the time. And I just like the way it feels in my body.
Okay.
And I just want to share it. I don't know. Like I can picture myself on a very big stage, but I'm not. But then when people want to hear me sing, I shrink in and I'm
Well, sure, because you got one foot in two canoes. So on the one hand, you got one foot in the canoe that's about connection. I have this gift and I want to share. I want to connect. You
Mhm,
picture yourself on big stages because that's about connection. That's
mhm,
about most amount of people being able to either get that joy from you or that you get the joy from them. It's that energetic exchange that's really important to you. Am I picking
mhm.
that up right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So she's got one foot in that, which is like, I mean, would you say that if you got to the end of your life and you had not fought for that,
Mhm.
like what would go through your head?
Yeah, I would regret it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a real heartfelt wish, then that's how we know.
Yeah. And I want to serve God with my voice. Like I feel like it's it's probably something that was put in me for a reason, and I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with it.
But so there's a spiritual component of this too, which is fulfilling this larger calling of your higher self and
Mhm,
of, God, whatever you believe in, that's something that's
mhm,
connecting you to even something greater. Okay.
mhm,
So she's got one foot in that canoe, guys. Okay.
mhm,
Now she's got this other foot in this other canoe that's like, oh, but I don't put myself out there. I play small. What do you think? What would you say is your fear that keeps your foot also in this canoe? Because
mhm,
otherwise both feet would be in this canoe and you'd be sailing down the river, right?
mhm.
So she's there's a resistance here because tell me, have you had things happen where maybe you didn't sound the way you thought you did, or you felt that you were put down in some way or judged, or what do you think that could be?
I think it's just I don't believe I'm good enough, maybe. Like I
Okay.
don't think I have the ability, I
Okay.
guess, because I haven't had that much professional training. I've had a little.
Okay.
Most of it is singing just from trying things and
Yeah. Well, so you're starting to explain to me. My question was going to be what data is your, what I call your monkey mind, the mind
mhm,
that just goes crazy and wants to, pardon the expression, smear shit all over everything and,
mhm,
like an untrained monkey, right? So
mhm.
what data is your monkey mind giving you that you're not good enough and you'll never be?
I guess it's that that's hard to say. Let's think.
Well, you just started to speak to it.
Yeah, I feel like I maybe don't have the technique down.
Okay, so I don't have
Um,
enough technique. I don't have
mhm.
a ton of training. What else? Why is it telling you that despite this totally aligned, like heartfelt desire that you're not paying attention to?
I guess I'm worried that I'm not like I'm tone deaf or something.
Okay.
Because like I feel like I'm very inconsistent and like I'll feel like like there's the singing in the shower thing, but then there's also just good days and bad days and like
Okay.
um
So
I'm
all of,
having a hard time figuring out why it is so not sporadic but volatile. I guess it's not, I feel like I can't rely.
sure. Yeah. And that is anxiety provoking. That's,
Hmm.
why would you put yourself out there for stuff and go after this heartfelt wish if time after time your mind is telling you, oh, but you're not good enough, you don't have enough training, you're not even built for this, you don't have the right ear, you don't have the right
Hmm.
link, right?
Hmm.
So now we have one foot in two canoes,
Hmm.
and you know what happens, like neither one can go anywhere, and you
Hmm.
just kind of stay where you are. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, despite all of the stuff in this canoe, you still have this this calling.
Hmm.
It's very strong. I can tell by the way you were speaking about it.
Hmm.
And so if you don't fulfill that, if God forbid the next 5 years looks exactly like the last, the next
Hmm.
15 years looks
Hmm.
exactly like the last, and you never figure this out,
Hmm.
what's your biggest fear, if I can ask?
If I don't,
Yeah, if you never figure this out and you can't share this, what does that mean? What does that mean about you?
well, there's not really, I guess there's no real, I don't know if there's a fear there. I guess there's only,
Well, then let's get in touch with the story because that might help you. So, what's the
mhm,
story that your mind is telling you that this means about you if you don't
if
share?
I don't do it, what does it mean about me if I don't do it? I guess just that I didn't, that I just let myself talk, you know, rule. And I used to do ballroom dancing as well, and I had similar issues with that. It was always performance anxiety,
Okay,
and
okay.
I'm very gifted.
Huh. But
it,
did it hold you back from really achieving
yeah,
what you
yeah, it really did. And I never could figure out why I was doing that, why I couldn't, get past my own mind.
Right. So if this is yet another aspect of your life
Hmm.
that you don't fulfill your potential,
Yeah, I'm just gonna feel sad. I'm
okay,
afraid that I'll regret it, and I'll be knowing that uh, I didn't make the most of what I had.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. And so if you are sad and because you didn't make the most of what you had, then
Hmm.
what is the story your mind is making that mean? What does it mean about you if that's the case in the future?
I guess it means that I am just, uh, I don't know if weak is the right word, but maybe that.
Okay. So you guys, and that's super honest and vulnerable, Carrie, like super brave of you to say. So really honoring you for like just
Thank you.
putting it out. Okay. So I'm weak. That's the story.
Mm,
Okay. And so there's these dominoes that are that fall. Okay. The
mm,
reason why the tension is there is
mm,
because Carrie's body is literally trying to control the outcome so that she doesn't fail when she sings in that moment, because failing in that moment means that she's weak.
mm,
And her body doesn't want to feel that. Her ego mind doesn't want to experience that. So Carrie's body is now going to try to do everything possible to control the outcome so that she doesn't end up failing and being in regret and being weak.
mm,
And that, Carrie, is what creates the overwhelming amount of tension that you experience when you sing.
mm,
Okay? And no amount of cutting edge technique that I give you or that anybody gives you will matter. And like I said, we work hard on that. And I can tell that that is something that you need because it's part of this loop that you're in.
mm,
But if none of that technique will matter, you will still have tension unless the root of the tension is addressed in the moment of singing. So
mm,
a little
mm,
bit of clarity now that
mm,
your body goes into that fight or flight, it is trying to prevent you. And if tension is where you go, then your fear reaction is to fight. That's where the control, the over, you know what I'm saying? That's the
mm,
fight. Okay. So those of you who experience tension, your fight or flight reaction is fight. Okay.
mm,
And so the the fight is there because the root of the tension has not been addressed. So
mm,
it becomes incumbent on your training to start to understand, oh, in that moment, and you'll see me do this, you guys, a lot over the course of the week. How would I sing this? And I'll ask questions like this. I might, if Carrie were singing right now, I would say, okay, let's just pretend that, you had full permission to make a bad sound. Like I dare you, Carrie, to screw it up. Oh, well, wait a second. So now we're addressing mindset in the moment of singing. What if you're allowed to mess it up? What if you're allowed to feel weak? What if you don't have to hold up the world at every time you go in to sing because that's what your body thinks it has to do so that it doesn't feel weak and fail and think, experience that for the rest of your life because you didn't live the potential.
mm.
Right? Like, did ever of you ever, or maybe you've experienced this, Carrie, too, like feel like you intellectually understand what your voice teacher is telling you, but in that moment, your body is like, nope, not gonna do it. It's not gonna, like, you get it in your mind intellectually, but your body is just like, right?
Mm,
And that's because technique is not optimized in a vacuum. You've got to get present to the thinking going on behind the singing in that moment of singing to be bulletproof and tap into that potential reliably. That's consistency is a huge thing. You guys, consistency is not a technique problem. It is
mm,
not. problem. It is a mind-body problem. Intellectually, you understand it. Your body won't do it in certain circumstances, and it will do it in other circumstances. Mindset problem. Okay, and you can't stand out from the competition and make the kind of impact with your singing that gets you the opportunities without that.
Mhm.
So, first of all, you guys, can we give Carrie a big hand for being super vulnerable right now?
Thank you.
And letting me walk her through all of this. What was is there a distinction for you in here? Or do you have a question about what you just got?
Um, I guess I learned a little bit about what's in the background,
Mhm.
and I think I'm still not convinced that I'm going to stop self-sabotaging.
That's okay. You don't have to believe that. I'm going to invite you to borrow my belief
Thank
because
you.
I have seen singers do that time and time again when they learn how to link mind and body. In fact, there's several of you guys in here who have gone through our training program. Amy has, Aporva has, Rigo has. There's several of you. You can speak to this, you guys. Like, please share with her that like it's okay for her to be skeptical because you don't have that experience yet, Carrie. And it's okay if you don't believe it. I'm gonna borrow my belief that you can absolutely shift this and just hold that possibility, especially because this is only day one and we're like just at the tiniest like beginning of scratching beneath the surface. And I'm going to give you guys some cool things to help you get even more clarity. So
Yeah.
just hold that, hold my belief. You don't even have to believe it. You can just say, I'm borrowing Arden's belief for right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much, Carrie. So
Thanks, everyone.
yes. Um, so you guys, to that end, in terms of being bulletproof, bringing that impact, being reliable, in order that you get the best possible results from the techniques that I'm going to give you this week, and so that you can embody them more quickly and more consistently, and just like what Carrie was saying, so that you can actually get the breakthroughs you came here for, I'm giving you two things to do tonight as homework to start setting this foundation of this mind-body connection, okay? So the first thing is a guided meditation. And it's a guided meditation for present moment body awareness. Cultivating a present moment awareness, guys, it is the first and most important step in creating a strong mind-body connection in singing. So curious, do any of you guys have any experience meditating? How many of you have meditated before? Tell me, say me in the chat. Anybody have a daily practice or you've engaged with it before? Oh, cool. So, okay, so a lot of you have experience with meditation before. Now, question, anyone totally new to meditation? Put new in the chat. It's totally okay if you're new to it also. Who's new? Yes, I see Tanya, Layla, awesome. Okay, yes, Valerie, cool. So here's the thing, you guys. It doesn't matter if you have zero experience with meditation before or if you have a lot of experience. These are guided meditations, okay? And so that means you're just going to put in your earbuds, you're going to press play. I'm giving you an MP3 to download. And this is a meditation that I want you to do today after we wrap. It's about 20 minutes. Like I said, it's guided. You will have the MP3 that is in our Masterclass workbook. So if you don't have the Masterclass workbook, you won't be able to find the meditation. So Ashley just put into the chat the link to the workbook. So if you haven't downloaded it, do it because that's where all of our homework content is. Okay. So I suggest finding a comfortable place to sit where your back and your body is supported. I don't generally recommend lying down for these meditations unless you have some physical limitations, which would make it difficult for you to sit for like 20 minutes at a time. So find a comfortable chair or a comfortable cushion or a place on the couch somewhere where you can sit and you're supported. And please know this, there is no right or wrong way to experience a meditation, okay? You might find that your mind wanders to your to-do list or a conversation you just had or the fight you had with your husband or the date you have tomorrow night, whatever, some other distraction, and you feel your mind wanders and you may realize that you've wandered and that you've missed what the guide is saying. And this is normal. especially if you've never meditated before. So when this happens, what I like to do, and you guys, I've been a practicing meditator for 10 years or more now, and still I will notice that I'm in my to-do list, okay? And so what I like to do in this moment is just label it thinking. So I drift and I'm like, oh my God, where did I go? Oh, thinking. And bring your awareness back to the guide's voice. And you might find that you do this 75 times over the course of the meditation. That means that the meditation is doing its job, bringing you back to the present moment. You start to notice your thoughts. You notice you've drifted and you're bringing yourself back. This is how we condition the present moment awareness in the mind and the body. Okay, so these daily meditations, they are integral to teaching you how to be totally present and how to witness, just noticing without an agenda what's going on in the mind and in the body in any given moment. Because guys, usually the mind has an agenda of its own that keeps you from being present in the moment. So the mind is usually busy in one of two places. Either it's busy shaming you about the past, or it's busy tripping out over what's going to happen in the future. So the mind is very rarely in the present moment with you. But the body is always in the present moment. So when we teach the mind how to be in the present moment with the body, now we're setting up a super efficient mind-body connection for your singing. Now we're setting that open energetic channel for impact and sound, okay? So your mind is now reacting to the present moment of your body instead of your body reacting to all the crap going on in your mind, like Carrie and I were just talking about. Okay, so this meditation is designed to help you get super present in your body and help you identify and let go of what's going on in your mind that's living in your body that you may not even realize. And so this is the first building block for building that rock solid mind-body connection. And then I'm also giving you what we call a thought exercise to do tonight. So a thought exercise is like a journaling exercise to help you get better aware of your thinking. Because you guys, tomorrow, we're going to get into a lot of technique. We're getting into breath support, and then the next day we're getting into resonance. But I need you to start getting better aware of your thinking, because the beauty of working 360 like this is that once I start giving you technique and we start working hands-on, and I'll ask for volunteers and guinea pigs who want to coach, I'm going to bring back your thinking. And if you're not present to what it is, it's going to be harder for you to get the result that you want. Okay, so the thought exercise is a journaling exercise to help you get better aware of the thinking going on behind the singing. I do them all the time with the singers in our flagship intensive training program. They are a very, very powerful tool and bridge to help you gain new awareness about what's been going on for you, both on stage and off, that's affecting you in ways that you would not otherwise realize. So tonight's thought exercise is for mind-body clarity connection. So do your meditation, do your thought exercise. The thought exercise is just a couple of journaling questions. It's not going to take you hours, it'll take you half an hour maybe. And then you'll do the thought exercise, and then the meditation is something that you should do each day this week of the workshop. This is not a one and done kind of thing. So if you have been with us in prior workshops, don't get sucked into the mindset of, oh, I already know this, I did this, I've already done this before, and then skip this. No, do not do it, okay? Do it again. This is like, you can think this way. It's like, go deeper this time. Approach the thought exercise and the meditation from a new intention of where you are now. Because guys, we're talking about creating new neural pathways here to link mind and body so that you get better results out of the technique that I'm going to teach you the rest of the week. And that requires conditioning. So if you've done it before, do it again. And if you're new to it, dive in with curiosity and do it every day this week. Doesn't matter how you meditate, that it's that you do it that matters. Even if you're new to this and you fall asleep, just pick it up tomorrow, do it again. Start conditioning the mind to stay present. So everybody, do both the meditation and the thought exercise tonight. Do the meditation every day this week, and then go post in our Facebook group to celebrate that you have been accountable to this. Own it, celebrate it, and then I can celebrate with you too. And I want to hear what your experience is like with it, how it's going. So post if you have questions about it. I will respond. I will support you, and let us know how this is going. I don't want you to just kind of blindly go into this without any support. So if you post in the Facebook group each day how the meditation is going, I can support you. Again, you can find tonight's homework in the Masterclass workbook, both the thought exercise and the meditation. Um, and then, yeah, tomorrow, guys, we are going to dive into high level breath support, game changing things. I know a lot of you have had training on breath support. Trust me when I tell you, you do not know what you do not know. So show up, empty your cup, be coachable, be willing, and we're going to get into some things that I think are going to be very, very powerful for so many of you to give you some tools that you can rely on in a much deeper way for your breast support. All right, guys, don't miss it. Celebrating all of you who showed up today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.